Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. It's going to open your eyes to truths most men will never realize about women, and I promise this will change how you see every interaction you've ever had. I want you to imagine something very simple. You stop texting her. You stop calling. You withdraw, just a little. You might think she won't notice, or maybe she'll breathe a sigh of relief. But the truth is far more complicated. Women notice absence in a way men rarely understand. When you remove yourself from her daily rhythm, the energy shifts. She starts analyzing every word you said, every laugh you shared, every subtle sign of interest. And suddenly, the space you've left behind becomes a mirror. A mirror where she sees her own feelings, her own desires, and sometimes her own fears. This isn't manipulation. It isn't a trick. It's psychology, the undeniable pull of emotional attachment. Her mind starts replaying moments with you. Maybe she feels annoyed, maybe confused. But beneath that surface is an almost primal curiosity. Why did he stop? What changed? And this is where most men fail to understand the deeper signal they're sending. Women aren't just reacting to silence, they're reacting to the value of your presence. Once it's gone, she's forced to confront exactly what she feels, and it can stir emotions she didn't even realize she had. I want to be very clear. This doesn't mean she'll chase you instantly, or that she's desperate. This is about awareness. The strongest emotional reactions are always the ones we didn't anticipate. You might see subtle signs. She's checking your social media more than usual, liking posts she never used to, or even asking mutual friends about you. Sometimes it's quieter. She may just replay your conversations silently, analyzing your every move. And here's the kicker. Her response depends entirely on the value she's assigned to you. Not the man you think you are, but the man she perceives you to be. The moment you stop talking, you're no longer just another option in her day. You become a variable she can't ignore. And whether she reacts with longing, frustration, or confusion, the truth is undeniable. Absence is far more powerful than presence. By understanding this, you're no longer blind to the emotional currents beneath a woman's exterior. You start seeing patterns, why she retreats, why she reaches, and most importantly, why your silence can trigger reactions men desperately wish they could predict. Now, let's peel back the curtain and look at what really happens when you stop talking. You might think silence is passive, but to her, it speaks volumes. The first thing you'll notice, if you're paying attention, is a shift in her energy. She may start testing boundaries without even realizing it. Suddenly, the jokes, the teasing, the little nudges she used to give you, they become more frequent, more pointed. It's like her subconscious is trying to reconnect the dots you just left dangling. She begins scanning for reasons. Was it something she said? Did she overstep? Or maybe she's questioning the relationship itself. Her mind races because human beings hate ambiguity, and women especially will seek to resolve uncertainty emotionally. This is why some of the most intense reactions come not immediately, but days later. She might send a message that seems casual, almost neutral, but underneath, it's loaded with emotion. A test, a probe, a way to measure if you care. You may also see subtle social behaviors. She might engage more with your friends, or talk about you indirectly in conversations. This isn't always conscious. She's trying to gauge your interest without confronting the reality of your absence. And when she notices you're not responding the way she expected, maybe slower replies, maybe no replies at all, that's when the real tension builds. Here's the psychological truth most men never understand. Women respond to value in motion. When you were present constantly, your value was assumed. The moment you remove yourself, your value becomes visible. And when that value becomes visible, her emotions amplify. Sometimes attraction, sometimes frustration, sometimes a mix she can't articulate. She may even feel anger, not at you, but at the confusion your absence creates. And that's critical to understand. Anger is just energy trying to find resolution. And while all of this is happening, she's watching for consistency. Is this silence a game, a test, or a genuine shift in your attention? Every micro behavior she exhibits is her way of interpreting the truth of your feelings. This is where men get it wrong. They see frustration or coldness and misread it as disinterest. But often it's the exact opposite. She's emotionally activated because you are no longer predictable, no longer guaranteed, and suddenly you're a problem she needs to solve internally. By noticing these signals, you step into a rare clarity. You understand why she behaves the way she does, and you stop being blinded by surface-level reactions. You see the patterns beneath, the subtle dance of attention, desire, and emotional investment. Now let's talk about the moments that reveal the most. The behaviors that aren't obvious if you're not looking closely. When you stop talking, she doesn't just feel your absence. She senses it in the spaces between her thoughts, in the quiet of her day, in the small gaps where your presence used to be. This is when her mind starts running scenarios. What you're thinking, what you might be doing, whether you're avoiding her intentionally. And men, listen closely. This is where most fail to see the truth. Her behavior is a reflection of emotional engagement, not disinterest. One of the first signs is what I call emotional probing. She might drop hints in conversation, small comments designed to see if you respond. Sometimes she'll flirt more than usual. Other times she'll become distant, almost testing if you chase or retreat. This push and pull isn't random. It's her subconscious trying to measure your level of investment. She's calibrating you. And men, this is crucial. She's not manipulating you maliciously, she's just assessing where you stand in her internal hierarchy of value and attention. You might notice sudden social shifts. She could engage more with your circle, comment on your social media in ways she didn't before, or bring up shared memories casually. These actions are subconscious bids to gauge your response without confronting the silence directly. Every like, every comment, every smile she directs your way is an emotional test. And it matters how you handle it, because the wrong reaction, desperation, frustration, over-explaining, will signal the very vulnerability she's trying to measure. Here's something most men never consider. When you pull away, she begins a silent internal debate. Part of her may feel hurt, maybe even frustrated, but another part begins to respect the boundaries you've set, if only because your absence proves you aren't predictable, you aren't taken for granted. And when she senses that you are emotionally self-sufficient, her attraction doesn't decrease, it intensifies. Emotional tension grows because scarcity naturally amplifies desire. Finally, notice how her emotional intensity fluctuates. One moment she's distant, seemingly unbothered. The next, she's suddenly engaged, playful, or even confrontational. These fluctuations aren't inconsistent, they're a direct response to your silence. She's processing, recalibrating, and ultimately deciding how much space she can tolerate without you, or how badly she wants you back. Understanding these behaviors gives you a rare insight. Her reactions aren't random chaos. They're a roadmap to her true feelings, hidden behind layers of emotion and social conditioning. And when you see the patterns clearly, you gain power not by controlling her, but by understanding her. Let's go deeper now, because this is where most men completely miss what's happening beneath the surface. When you stop talking, you're not just creating absence, you're activating triggers in her mind that most men never realize exist. These triggers are emotional, subconscious, and incredibly powerful. They force her to confront feelings she might have been suppressing, doubts she hadn't acknowledged, and desires she didn't even know were tied to you. The first trigger is uncertainty. Women crave clarity, but they also respond to ambiguity in ways that men often misread. When you're suddenly silent, you introduce a question mark into her daily emotional equation. Why isn't he talking? What changed? This uncertainty pulls her attention like gravity. Her mind tries to solve the puzzle, sometimes obsessively, because ambiguity activates emotional circuits designed to seek resolution. Next is scarcity, the principle that what is rare feels more valuable. Your absence isn't just a gap, it's a demonstration of independence, control, and emotional self-sufficiency. When you were always available, your presence had familiarity, predictability. Now, without constant interaction, you become a mystery. She begins to assign more weight to every memory, every shared moment, every laugh. Scarcity doesn't just create longing, it forces introspection, making her question the emotional distance she can tolerate without you. Then comes reflection. Silence is like holding up a mirror to her feelings. She begins analyzing herself, her desires, her actions, and her emotional investment. You might notice subtle behavioral changes. She's more attentive to detail. She remembers conversations you didn't think mattered. She reacts to cues she previously ignored. This is her internal process of recalibration, trying to measure the depth of her feelings without the distraction of your presence. Finally, emotional tension escalates. Absence combined with perceived value creates a pressure that must be released. This is why some women act in ways that seem confusing. Sudden playfulness, teasing, indirect messages, or even irritation. Each reaction is a signal, sometimes subconscious, about how strongly she is affected by your absence. It's never random. She's negotiating her emotions, trying to gauge whether your silence is a boundary, a test, or a permanent withdrawal. Here's the truth few men understand. When you stop talking, you're not playing a game, you're creating clarity. Her behaviors, her reactions, even her confusion are all data points. If you observe carefully, you'll see patterns, signals, and hidden truths about her feelings that are far more telling than anything she says outright. And this awareness, that knowledge of the invisible currents of her mind, gives you control, not through force, but through understanding. Now, let's look at the signals most men completely miss. When you stop talking, her emotions don't just simmer quietly, they escalate in ways that are subtle, layered, and often misread. The first thing you'll notice if you pay attention is increased attentiveness. She suddenly notices details about you that previously went under her radar. The way you word things, the small habits, the jokes you made that now linger in her memory. This is not casual observation. It's her subconscious assessing your absence and reevaluating your importance. Next is indirect engagement. She might like posts, comment more than usual, or bring up past moments in conversation almost casually. To a man, this can seem trivial or coincidental, but psychologically, this is a form of emotional signaling. She's testing boundaries, seeking subtle confirmation that your silence isn't permanent. Each small interaction is loaded with meaning. She's measuring your reaction, her own feelings, and the potential for reconnection. You'll also notice fluctuations in her mood around you. One moment she's playful, warm, or teasing, the next, distant or cold. This is not inconsistency, it's emotional tension manifesting externally. Silence from you creates pressure, and pressure demands release. Her oscillating behavior is a reflection of her internal conflict. She wants closeness, but the absence you created forces her to confront how much she truly values you. Another key signal is self-reflection. She may start asking questions directly or indirectly about your life, your intentions, your feelings. Often she does this without realizing she's doing it. Her curiosity is no longer casual, it's emotionally driven. She's trying to map her attachment to you, weigh the loss, and determine how much effort she is willing to invest to maintain or restore the connection. Finally, you might notice subtle acts of validation seeking. She may share her achievements, her challenges, or her thoughts in ways that feel intentional, almost as if she's creating opportunities for your attention. These behaviors aren't manipulative, they're a natural response to your absence. She is emotionally reacting to the void you left, and these actions are her way of processing feelings she cannot ignore. Men often misread all of this as disinterest, unpredictability, or even game playing. The reality is far simpler and far more revealing. Her reactions are direct reflections of her emotional investment. Understanding this changes everything. When you recognize these patterns, you stop reacting impulsively. You start observing, analyzing, and understanding the depth of her feelings without losing control of your own emotions. Now, let's uncover the truth that most men never see. When you stop talking, you're not just creating absence, you're revealing the reality of her feelings in ways words never could. Silence is a mirror, reflecting back the emotions she often hides, even from herself. The moment you withdraw, the emotional landscape changes. She begins to notice the value of your presence, the weight of your attention, and the power of your choice. And here's the key. This isn't about manipulation, it's about perception. The most profound change occurs internally. She starts to measure herself against the space you've created. Does she feel regret for taking your presence for granted? Does she feel the pull of attraction intensifying in your absence? Every memory of you becomes sharper. Every laugh, every shared glance, every moment you were emotionally present becomes amplified. What she may have overlooked when you were always available now carries meaning, and that meaning drives emotional action. You'll also notice subtle behavioral shifts that reveal deeper truths. She may seek indirect contact through social channels, mutual friends, or casual mentions in conversation. These are signals that she's emotionally processing your absence, testing whether your silence is permanent or temporary. She may act impatient, playful, or even slightly frustrated, but beneath it all is a single driving force. She is actively evaluating her feelings for you, her attachment, and her desire to reconnect. And here's the ultimate reality most men miss. Absence doesn't just provoke curiosity, it forces clarity. She cannot ignore the void you've created. She cannot continue emotionally ambivalent without confronting it. Your silence pushes her to answer questions she may have been avoiding. How much does she value you? How strong is her attachment? How much is she willing to feel when the comfort of your presence is no longer guaranteed? Understanding this gives you an extraordinary advantage. You see beyond surface behaviors, beyond words and casual gestures, straight into the emotional core of her responses. You gain insight into her desire, her attachment, and her intentions, all without losing your own emotional equilibrium. You're no longer reacting blindly. You are observing, understanding, and guiding interactions with a clarity most men never experience. So remember this: when you stop talking, you're not withdrawing care, you're revealing truth. Every reaction she has, every subtle shift in behavior is a reflection of what she feels deep down. And once you understand that, you finally see the unspoken language of female attraction, the invisible forces driving her emotions, and the power of presence versus absence in the most intimate of human connections.